Welcome to the channel. Every summer, this same thing happens. Prices soften, Reddit goes a little quiet, and someone posts asking if the Pokemon market is finally crashing. I'm sure a lot of you have seen those videos on YouTube, Instagram, and social media. The summer dip is not a warning sign, it's a calendar event and it happens every single year. Today, I'm going to show you the data behind the pattern, talk about why it happens, and exactly how I'm going to use it. Welcome back to the Poke Ticker. Let's see what the market's telling us. Right here, I got you on this first page to show you some Google Trends analysis. It'll go over just the search results here for people. You can clearly see in the last 2 years, kind of, it shows the end of the summer here. It was in a dip, comes up here over the fall, all the way through into the spring. And now we're starting to see a big dip again now once we get into the summer. This isn't unusual. This happens every single year. And I want to go through kind of the patterns and the important things that you should be aware of. So thanks to Card and Packs for putting this together, but going to go through the last several years here. In 2020, 2021 with the COVID bubble here, lots of people were getting back into the hobby. It sparked kind of a catalyst with Logan Paul and his box openings. The COVID effect where everybody was inside getting back into Pokemon and all the nostalgia. And then, TikTok and social media really propelled that mania forward. As people started to get back into the hobby, the sets started to be limited in what you could find. And modern sets that really aren't that popular now, like Vivid Voltage, started to sell out and do really well. And however, from the years following that, everything started to go down. Following that year, 2022, 2023, we have that correction. They call it a crash here. I don't know if I'd quite go that far, but a lot of prices did go down. A lot of people who were scalping kind of went out of the hobby at that time. It was a good time to be involved in the hobby. Everything was pretty available. Even if it was the more popular sets were a little bit hard to come by, you could find a lot of what you were looking for. Singles were available. They have a couple examples here of some crashes of bigger cards and products here, but again, it was a really great time as the modern sets kind of found their groove. We came with the special art rares and things like that are now a staple in all of our sets, and so it was really great. As we got into 2024 and 2025, the market sort of matured here. As we got into 2025, we had that big heritage sale that set a record. A lot of data started to become available through PriceCharting, TCGPlayer, auction prices. And so all of us in the hobby were able to find reliable sources where we could track kind of the data that was coming through from the market. So it became really easy to start to price out and see what things were worth. And that really drove the market into where we are now. Because of that, you can now easily see the seasonal patterns that go on. And they make perfect sense once you think about it. Again, this is not a crash. A lot of YouTuber and content creators I've seen out there started to post that, or whether it is or isn't, and are really using that as their content creation engine right now. But the seasonal pattern follows pretty consistently each year. So the holiday season and the summer are almost always the downturns. So as you get into November, December, it'll start to pick up. But in the summer, and they don't quote that here, but in the summer, you see a nice dip. People get outside, they go on vacation, they're busy, they're spending their money on other things. And then as the holidays ramp up, they get excited about the new sets that drop at the beginning of the next year, and the price then inevitably, goes back up. So I'll show some instances where that happens, some examples here. One really clear example is the Raichu from Paldea Evolved. This set is now, rotating out, which is why it has such a big jump here at the end. But you can see it, right? Like, so here in the summer, the card's several years old, just kind of flat, not moving a whole lot. Comes up in the beginning of the summer, and then dips back down through the end. And, follows all the way through January, the beginning, dips through the summer, comes back up in fall. And then, as we started to rotate out, it's had a bigger spike because people realize this card will no longer be easily available. But follows that nice trend that you like to see where it's clear there hasn't been a ton of manipulation on the card, where there's a bump, kind of a stagnation period, bump, stagnation period all the way through each year. Really clear, you can see those seasonal changes, and honestly they result in really good buying opportunities for you. And so trying to time the market is always really hard, but if you can time it between those bumps, that's always a great time. Just a couple other examples here I want to share. So this is comparing the Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames, the Starm EV from Astral Radiance, and the Glaceon V-Star from Crown Zenith. If you know what those cards are, those are really nice cards. And you can see they basically all follow the same pattern. Even though they're not all priced the same, you can see, they have the dips, and then they jump up in spring, summer goes down, end of the fall, at the beginning of spring, again, up, down. So you can really follow the process and what's happening here in the market. One more kind of shorter example here, again, just 3 cards that you can from different sets that are good to compare. The Ghastly from Temporal Forces, the Psyduck from 151, and then the Charizard V-Star. So you can see they all have different release times, but they'll be stagnant in the summer period, jump up at the fall, and through the winter, come back down in summer, jump up the fall, and then now we're at the top, and they're starting to even out, and they'll come back down here at the end of summer. Just know that this is pretty consistent across most of the cards. Not every single one will follow this pattern, but the vast majority of them will. Really keep an eye out if you're looking for certain things, because you can time it fairly well to get something that you've been searching for. Something that I came across that seems to be really nice is this report that I found. It's the Midsummer Market Report for this year. Has a lot of data in here that you could review, but just wanted to kind of go over it and share this with you guys. It'll pull some of this information, and you'll be able to see it graphically for what I've been talking about. Don't be scared that the market is crashing or that everything's going to go down or Modern's no longer where you can spend your time or energy and you got to move everything to Vintage. Don't FOMO or overreact. Use the data that's out there to make smart decisions and collect the things that you like. One of the ways and one of the reasons that the market remains cyclical is how Pokemon puts together its rollouts for the sets and products. Just want to call that out here. This is just a nice little 3 bullet point part of the article that talks about how that happens or why that happens. Pokemon Company will maintain hype throughout the year. They don't like big dips. You could use now as an example, obviously, the last 3 sets, Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and Pitch Black, are all a little underwhelming. That's most likely intentional, with the Pokemon Company knowing they're going to have to spend a majority of their time, energy, and money on the 30th anniversary that's coming up here in September. They are focusing all their energy there so that they can maintain what they want to do throughout the year. After that, they want to avoid the market saturations. Having these lesser sets, the last 3, avoids people spending all their money before the 30th anniversary comes out. It gives them a little bit of a breather so that they can get the cards they really want. And then obviously creating controlled FOMO. When they do have those limited runs or they come out with certain products like they did with Ascended Heroes, they didn't have everything at the start and then they moved on to the new products each month coming out. They really want to control that FOMO, if you will, so that people keep coming back and purchasing their products. By doing this, it really does create that up and down and market fluctuation that we saw with the cards I showed as examples, and it helps them control the market overall. Lastly is just some investment tips here. Even though the dip here in the summer presents a nice buying opportunity for a lot of the cards, probably many of which you're looking at, you got to make sure you're smart about it. Not everything will be a good purchase. During some of these big upward swing times, the PSA grades don't necessarily mean as much. People are buying 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, whatever. They just want the card. But when the market does, correct eventually, and it will do that eventually, even though that's not what's happening right now, you want to make sure you have the best conditions that you can. If you're coming at this from an investment perspective, I wouldn't spend a lot of time outside of those, highest conditioned cards, even from a raw perspective, unless you're just keeping it in your binder, you just want to have it in your collection. Make sure you focus on the condition and know that what you're getting is good. Buy during corrections. Again, the summer dip isn't really a correction, but it's a lower time for you to buy cards. So a lot of the prices come down between 5 and 10% at the minimum. Use those as peak buying opportunities. Obviously, collect what you love, but if you're trying to pick things up from an investment perspective, definitely don't just hold Modern, just don't hold Vintage, Mid-Era. Try to spread it out across the things that you love. And then always think long-term. When I see lots of people ask for suggestions on which cards they should pick up if things are going to go good long term. Long term in my mind is 5 to 10 years. So everyone thinks the 30th anniversary is a great pickup. Will it be a great pickup in a year? Maybe not. Maybe the prices will be stagnant. It won't have gone up. Maybe it'll go down. But in 5 to 10 years, it'll do great. Just look back at the 20th anniversary or the 25th anniversary as examples, and all of those things go up. Even the promo cards and some of the things, people didn't even want when they first came out. And then, if you have any chances grading and authenticating, I know PSA is way backed up right now, but that won't last forever. They had a stoppage back in the Sword and Shield era as well, where people couldn't send anything in for a while, and that came back down. They had a long time there, or at least several years worth of time where they weren't backed up, and you could get things back pretty quickly. This pause won't last forever. And just know that if you have things that are worth it, they may be good to send in. And then we're always going to touch on this. The 30th anniversary is coming out. Definitely set something aside to get some of these products or cards if you're looking to collect, which feels like everybody wants to collect at least something from here, which is definitely smart. This year especially, that could be a qualifying factor for part of the summer dip here, where people are thinking, the market's going down. It could just be people knowing that they're going to spend their money when this comes out, and they'd rather not waste time, energy, effort, resources on getting some of these sets that they just want 1 or 2 cards from. Definitely keep something set aside so that you can purchase. This was part 1 of the 2-part series. I'll be following up with some picks I have later this week, cards you should be aware of and look out for. I'll show kind of the charts of what they look like and explain why I'm selecting them at this time, and show you kind of what I'm looking for there. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next video.